War destroyed our home. Our parents are wounded. And we have to move on. Under the War is a transformative board game that allows the players to experience the life of the Hassan family in Syria. The premise of the story took place in the war zone of Syria. The Hassan family lived in a dilapidated small house. Their food and water were almost running out. Hassan's parents were injured when they went out looking for food, so the children had to go out looking for medical supplies to save their parents. In this way, the children are carrying limited food and water embarked on the unknown journey. Under the War is a survival, crisis management game in which players will be struggling and trying their best to collect all the necessary life resources to survive and collect required materials back to the family. The most intuitive reason for us to create this game is the current increasingly tense international trend. Because of the pandemic, frictions and collisions between countries have become more frequent. Not to mention the restart of the war against Syria after Biden became the new president. Our team has a strong interest and shares great empathy to those who are struggling under the threat of war. We hope that we as a game designing team can bring an anti-war game to the world for those who share our same spirit and our lofty ideals. The purpose of this game is to help the players to build an in-depth understanding and sympathy for the citizens who live in the war zone, and hope this game could push the players go further to against or actually do something to prevent war. We think this game is innovative because by encountering different events and struggles in the game, the players not only have to keep themselves alive but also have to bring enough materials back to save the family member. So, how do you play the game, Under the War? The game has 4 types of cards: resources, accident, event, and character cards. We have a board that keeps track of the sanity level and the health level, which is also at the back of the character card. The accident card is the turn-based triggered event that will require the players to provide the corresponding resource cards, otherwise, they will lose health points. Event cards are used as the decision-making trigger. When the event cards are triggered, the players will be facing some profound questions or choices that could affect the overall gameplay experience and the sanity of their character. Each time players encounter different events and lose their sanity or health, they will move the tokens up or down the health and sanity bar. When the player's health or sanity reaches 0, the player is dead. Resource cards include food and water, which allows the players to keep their characters alive. During the game, players need to collect the specified medical materials to save their families. The game starts when each player randomly chooses their character cards and draws 3 resource cards from the resource card deck. The health level and the player's sanity level depend on their character. Each game character will have different starting health and sanity. During every 2 turns of the game, players will have to draw 1 accident card, and the effect of that accident card will influence all the players. Also, when the players trigger the events, they can choose yes or no to that event. Keep in mind that there are consequences if the player lacks health or sanity. After making sure their characters are alive, the players can then explore and bring the required 6 medical supplies back home to save the parents of the game within certain game turns. The impact of war on people's lives far exceeds our imagination. When we collected the information, when we saw the video about the war and the life of the local people, we only discovered how hard-won the peaceful life we are currently enjoying is. Therefore, we deliberately increased the difficulty of survival for players, and implicitly promoted players to share resources directly. The underlying challenge that our game tries to aim for is that original people who did not experience war often have empathy for the citizens who live in the war zone but with no further progress. Because war seems far away from them and the lost life seems more like a number than actual life. Generally, they can't share the same feeling of how suffered the citizens could be. We as the game designers evaluate our desired transformative game experience by observing the pro-social behavior of the players. We sincerely hope that players can enjoy the transformative fun in the game. If our game makes you pay attention to the situation in Syria, we think we have achieved our goal.